Hey guys, I'm up at 35,000 feet right now on a Southwest Airlines flight departed from San Diego, California, heading over to Nashville right now. And I want to just share a few things in today's podcast episode. One, what I'm most excited for. This will be part one of the program. And now I'm going to get back on the horn here after this Mastermind Weekend Retreat. Right now, as I record this, it's early Thursday morning, just at about 7:30 a.m. We had a 6:30 a.m. flight, and man, I am excited for this Mastermind Weekend. It's the second one. We had our first one in October, max of 20 people, so that we could abide by all the standards that we need to do to keep safe and distant and healthy. But there's a few things I'm excited for, 3 to be exact. Number one, I'm really excited today that first and foremost that I'm on this, what I've always called a 35,000 foot spa retreat. I certainly have not gotten a lot of flights in 2020, probably like yourself, but even in the hour I've been in the air, being up here, you can probably hear the muffled sound of the engines. It's kind of like white noise. It allows me to think, to write, and even create. Heck, I'm creating this podcast because when I did this back in March, right before the pandemic hit, going down to see Mom, bless Mama Durkin, y'all had some great feedback from thoughts from 35,000 feet. So this is one of my first flights since then. I haven't flown a ton since that time, but I get to record this podcast. The second thing I'm most excited for this weekend, it goes from Thursday this afternoon in Nashville all the way through Sunday. So I have the Power of 10, my highest power level mastermind members this afternoon and Friday, and then we connect Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday with the group of 20 or so people coming in. The second part I'm most excited for is exactly that, to connect live with 20 of the most passionate fit pros on the planet. You know, these 20 people all have elected to come, volunteered to come spend time. They're yearning for live time. And there's a few things over the next few days I'm going to be addressing. One is the state of the fitness industry. See, I believe, this is my own personal opinion, but I know it to be true, is that one's health, fitness, and wellness is absolutely paramount right now and going into 2021. There has never been a more important time for our industry than now. The stress, the disease, the weaknesses, physically and mentally, on all aspects, are absolutely crucial for one's health. So I'm going to talk about that this weekend with these people who are some of the most amazing people, literally from all over the country, but we'll be in Nashville for these days. And then I'm going to state essentially 5 questions we're going to focus on and go deep and connect and interact and have some pair shares. But number one, what are the things that you're most grateful for these days? What are those things you're most grateful for these days? See, gratitude is always a great place to come from. And we're going to make sure we have gratitude time. And also, number 2, who is in your life that you're most grateful for these days? See, as you're listening in right now, I'm on a plane. You might be working out or in a car, in a bus, at work, making some breakfast or dinner. I want you to think about and uphold that visual, that image of who is in your life that you're most grateful for right now. Third aspect I'm going to share this weekend, and we're going to spend time with, is what are some of the top lessons that you've learned in the last 8 months? What are the top lessons? Now, that's part A of question number 3, but more importantly than just the top lessons, what the heck are you going to do about them to apply them to today's times? What are you going to do to apply the lessons? See, if you actually carved out an hour or 2 to write down the lessons, personally, professionally, relationally, financially, all at different aspects of your life, that's one great lesson to do. But more importantly, as we go into 2021, how are we going to apply these lessons? What are we going to do to make sure that we can take these lessons and apply them so that 2021 will be a far different year than 2020? Number 4, business-wise, where is your focus now? And where should it be? Are you focusing on the right things? And if not, you need to correct that and change that quick. Right? So where's your focus now? And is it where you should it be? Or do you need to be focusing on something else? Are you focusing on the wrong things? Coach Frank Puker will be down here in Nashville with me. And Frank will be doing the VNA, the Virtual Needs Assessment. By the way, this is something that's open to anyone. If you are a coach, a trainer, a fitness professional, and you'd like to go through the exercise that we'll be going through, Frank offers complimentary VNAs, virtual needs assessments, assessing where you're at in your business professionally so you can make sure you're focusing on the right things. Number 5, if you're at a fork in the road moment in your life or in your career, what are you going to do? What are you going to do at a fork in the road moment? And when are you going to do it? See, when we talk about fork in the road moments, I believe many of us right now are making massive decisions about our lives and about our businesses, about our opportunities, about our threats, about our health. Maybe you're at a fork in the road moment with your own health, your physical being, your mental mindset. Fork in the road moments. What are you going to do? When are you going to do it? Think about that. We're going to talk about that this weekend, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for fork in the road moments. What can we do to enhance when you have a choice to make and you're standing there at the fork? What are you going to do? And the third thing that I'll share before we're moving into part 2, which will be in 4 days from now when I record this on the way home, my lessons from this past weekend is I'm most excited for is just a change in the routine. A change in the routine. I don't know about you, but I've been grinding hard for 8 months. Grinding 7 days a week, trying to take time off, but the mind is constantly racing. Can anyone relate? Anyone? You know, when I look at the things I love to do, I love to travel. I love seeing new cities. I love connecting live with people. Hey, that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful that Fitness Quest 10, we've been connecting live. I've been joking around about, regardless of what zone we're in, the one zone I'm in is my zone. The zone where we can connect live with people. So a change in the routine. I'm excited for these next 4 days, this afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in that. So think about your routine. Sometimes it's good to mix it up and diversify. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're going to travel or not. I'm actually fine with travel. I've got a mask on right now as I record this podcast and finding a way to get it done. But the change in the routine to be, to check out Nashville and see I've been in Nashville in, many, many, many years, over 20, probably 25 years. And to see a new city again, and to travel and connect and to go on nature hikes with fall in the air, a chill in the air is going to be awesome. So that's what I'm excited for. So hopefully this got you thinking, as these are my thoughts from 35,000 feet en route from San Diego to Nashville. This is my spa retreat, 4 hours. I'm so pumped to have 4 hours of quiet time and thinking time and writing time and creation time. And I've often joked I'm gonna just get on a flight and fly back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast. And hey, maybe 2021 will have more of that. But for right now, I'm extremely grateful for you listening in to part 1 of what I'm excited for this Mastermind weekend. And I'll be back in just, for me, 4 days. And for you, in a matter of just minutes from my Sunday afternoon top takeaways from the weekend. Continue pushing, have some fun, pick up the pace if you need to, or put a smile on your face. I love you guys. Off to Nashville, baby. All right, folks, welcome back to part 2. It's Sunday night now. 4 days have passed. Yes, 4 days have passed. For you, just seconds. You're still in the middle of your workout. But for me right now, it's Sunday night. And let me tell you what, it's a little after 7 p.m. I left Nashville. I'm up at 35,000 feet once again, now going west, and I am so excited. I got to admit, I'm on a Southwest Airlines flight on a Sunday night for 4 hours, and I don't think I've ever been more excited for a flight. Why? Well, not only because I'm going to deliver part 2 of this episode, but there's Sunday night football on, and my guy Drew Brees is taking on, the New Orleans Saints is taking on Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it is going to be an awesome flight. So I wanted to get this podcast episode part 2 done prior to enjoying this flight. A few things I have in store for the flight. I always love the flying part. 8 hours of flying in the last 4 days, and I love it. I'm going to do my WLAGs tonight, as I always do every Sunday night. I've got my emails to create for the week, which I love writing, doing what you love to do. I'm going to record this podcast, part 2 episode, and I'm going to watch the Saints beat the Bucs 27-24. That's my prediction, 27-24. I'm saying Drew's going to have a huge game. He's going to outshine his Hall of Fame partner in crime there, Tom Brady, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you, Southwest Airlines, for having DirecTV on these flights. This is good. But let me just talk about the last 4 days, guys. I've got 5 takeaways. That's it. And I think you're going to get great value out of this this part 2 of the episode, because I share with some of the questions that I was going to really challenge the 20 or so folks that were as part of the Mastermind Weekend / Retreat. And we had an amazing time. We worked out. We kept socially distant. We shared lots of love, lots of smiles, lots of laughs, even some cries. So it was full of emotion. And point number 1 I want to share today in my takeaways is this: the power of human connection. There is nothing like human connection. We need it. We absolutely need human connection. When I talk about where you stuck, stalled, or frustrated, what's holding you back, one of the things is isolation. And because of the craziness of the time, sometimes we get isolated, we feel isolated. I want you to seek out human connection. And whether that's live, whether gyms are open or not, different events are open or not, obviously everything is being kept small now, you still can reach out and connect to people. And one of the best things that happened at this, I'll call it retreat / weekend, is I saw such love and empathy and care in our mastermind members serving one another, truly serving and caring. To see that human bond and need of human connection is my greatest takeaway. I'm starting with that because we are missing that, and you can be the vehicle and the conduit for that change. So as I record here after 7 p.m. on a Sunday night for your podcast episode, I want you to think about, whenever you're listening to this, whether it's Thursday or any day of the week, the power of human connection. It takes a little more effort today to show up and to connect. Our kids need it. Can I get an amen on that? Kids need it. Adults need it. We need it. All of us need it. Number 2, the second takeaway that I would say was powerful from our weekend retreat: don't let creep set in. Creep. What do I mean by creep? I'm talking about physical, mental, spiritual, entrepreneurial, relational creep. You know what creep is? It's when you're just mediocre, when you're gray and hazy, and you're not really operating at your best self. You get stale, you get unmotivated, you get stuck, you get stagnant. These are not good things. So you don't want to let creep set in. So my question to you is, how do you challenge yourself to stay in the zone where you're mentally, physically challenged? How do you tune into your best practices so that you can really make sure that you're dialing up, not staying the same? No one likes to say the same. I don't, you don't. So what are we going to do today? Just today, to train harder, to eat better, to listen to podcasts like this, to share this, to share the energy and love so creep doesn't set in. Let's not let the world dictate the tempo and rhythm that you want to live your life. How about you dictate that rhythm, that tempo that you want to live your life in, so that we're not doing the things that are going to hold us back. Ultimately, to get to where you want to go, it's going to take getting your mind right. Right? It's going to take that mindset, changing your BS, your belief systems. It's going to take motivation. It's going to take changing your routines and your habits and spending more time in gratitude. But I want to remind you that your success is all coming from your daily routine. Let me repeat that. The secret to your success is all coming from your daily routine. So dial this routine in. It's absolutely essential. To get to where you want to go, you're going to have to dial that daily routine in. And you're going to have to ultimately make sure that you do the little things to take extreme personal care, exercise, recovery, mindset, reading 2 pages or 10 pages a day, whatever you set out to do. So that's an important aspect of not letting creep set in. It's not like it all of a sudden hits you and slams you. It's this gradual over time, over 8 or 9 months. So if that's you, I want you to have something immediate that snaps the creep, right? So get out there, move your bodies, make great choices today, and don't be a creeper. Don't let creep in. Number 3, a takeaway from this weekend, and this really started in my Power of 10 meeting on Thursday and Friday, and we were talking about this quote with Travis Barnes and Andrew Simpson and Landon Langston, and we were talking in this meeting with Greg Justice, who his own scripter, about a guy named Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you've ever heard of Wayne Dyer, but Wayne Dyer says this, and this is a great quote. If all we are is what we have, then when we lose what we have, we lose who we are. Let me repeat that deep thought and quote from 35,000 feet. If all we are is what we have, then when we lose what we have, then we lose who we are. What I'm talking about here is ego. How do you not be guided by ego, edging God out? How do you not be steered by the successes that you desire, but more about the significance that you want, about your divine purpose that should be guiding us? So think about that, is if there are decisions, as I call them in the meeting, if there are fork in the road moments in your life, be sure that the fork in the road moments are being made not by ego, but they're being made by faith. Great quote. Think about that. Write that down in your notes section on your phone. Number 4 takeaway that I'm going to share 5. I got about 100, but I'm going to only share 5. Number 4 is this. Simple is not always easy. Can I get an amen on that? Simple is not always easy. What do I mean by simple is not always easy? You know, Coach Frank Pooker, he's the director of the Durkin Mastermind Group. He was doing what's called a virtual needs assessment, about an hour talk on Saturday. And part of the VNA, the virtual needs assessment, is where do you need to be focusing in your business to get the momentum that you desire? And when you think about that for your business or your life, we tend to go to where we want, not where we need. We tend to go where our emotions take us, but there are times where you need to go where the assessment says this is your ultimate need. And one of the things that Coach Frank was talking about is leadership. So when I say simple is not always easy, when he was talking about leadership, Frank mentioned that you should ask your teammates 5 things. If you're a leader, ask your teammates 5 things. And these are the 5 questions that Frank mentioned. Ask your teammate this: where are you succeeding professionally? Number 2, where do you have opportunities to improve right now? Number 3, what can you specifically do to improve in that area? Number 4, if you were to improve in that area, what would be possible? And number 5, what can I do specifically to help you achieve what you desire? Now, doesn't that sound so easy? It sounds so easy to sit down with each of your teammates and go through those 5 questions. Because when I was listening to Frank speak to the masterminders about this, I was like, this is brilliant. So simple, so profound, so powerful, yet not easy. The thought is this: whether you take those 5 questions or not, I challenge you as a leader in a business, in your house, in your home, in your relationships, is to think of the simple questions. They may not be easy, but the simple ones, and spend the time, invest the time with those in your life who are most important, and start the dialogue. Have that discussion. Because what I saw this weekend was people conversing and people sharing and people providing advice. Not necessarily feedback, but advice. People don't ask for feedback, ask for advice. Hey, what do you think about this? And I love that. And Frank Puker did a great job, and that was a great takeaway, I believe, from the entire Mastermind weekend. And the 5th and final point on today's takeaway from the 4-day episode retreat, and probably most important, is this: you gotta stay connected to your soul, your spirit, your faith, and your purpose during this very challenging time. Let me repeat, you must stay connected to your soul, spirit, faith, and purpose during this time. If you do not, then it's going to be a very turbulent, challenging, and more difficult time than it already is. Hey, let's face it, even if you have purpose, if you have faith, if you have spirit, if you have strong soul right now, it's still difficult, but it's the one anchor that can help you get through this time. So my friends, today, my top 5 takeaways, and I'll leave you with a few questions to contemplate and to get you a little further fired up on your workout or on your drive, or as you're whooping up some food right now. I'll ask these questions to you, just like I did with my masterminders. What's giving you the juice right now? What's giving you the juice? You know, the energy, the positivity, the enthusiasm that you need. Perhaps you're like me, and even an hour a day where you're training somebody, or you're coaching somebody, or you're reading a great book, or listening to a podcast such as this is giving you the juice, the energy that's needed to put a little extra bounce in your step and have you wag that tail. Number 2, what's draining you? What's draining you? If there are things in your life that are draining you, do less of them. I can't say stop doing them, because it depends what it is. But you can certainly either significantly reduce or possibly eliminate, depending on what that is draining you. Because I shared earlier that if you want to get to a place that you haven't been and you know you want to go, then you're going to have to really dial into extreme personal care. And I want these next 2 months, November, December here, I want you to be dialed in. There's no excuses that it's the holidays, that it's Thanksgiving, that it's Christmas, it's Hanukkah, or anything else, or there's certain mandates that are, no. You're going to take control of your own life and health. Number 3, what's your purpose? What's your why? Why are you doing what you do? Let's make sure we remember that purpose, and let's live by purpose. Number 4, well, this is a little bit bigger, but I want you to really stew on this week. And this is one that I love asking the people I coach, all the people I coach, whether it be in the mastermind or my impact coaching program, or even if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking about this. The macro question is, if you knew that you couldn't and wouldn't fail and had to do this life with no regrets, what would you do? If you knew you wouldn't fail and you wanted to live with no regrets, what would you do? You know, right now you probably have these deep thoughts in your head because you're out for a walk, you're walking the dog, you're out for a run. What would you do? What are those whispers saying? Continue to tap into those whispers, because they're quite profound. And number 5, how about this? That was a macro question. Let me ask micro. If you knew that you only had 6 months to live, what would you do? Don't think that's a morbid thought. The whole purpose of that thought, when Wayne Cotton asked me that question in year 2000 on a napkin at Brugger's Bagels in Scripps Ranch, San Diego, California, I remember it like yesterday. He said, if lightning was to strike you dead in 6 months from today, how would you live your life? And I scratched my head as a young man 20 years ago, thought about that. The reason I asked you that question today is because this is who you truly are. These are your core values. So however you answer that question, if you knew you were going to die in 6 months from now, how would you live? My friends, let's make sure we're living the way we want to be living now, knowing that life is not guaranteed. Let's make sure that you're doing the things that you want to do, and most importantly, you're spending the time with the people who are most precious in your life. So those are 5 great questions. And as we approach the last 2 months, or heck, we're in the last 2 months, we're already in mid-November, I'll ask 2 more questions. If we were to look at a magic ball, what does the end of the year look like for you? Frame it up. Frame it up. The end of the year. I want these next 6-7 weeks. I want you on fire. I want you on fire. I don't want you stagnant. I don't want you stale. I want you on fire. And my last question of all is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? When are you taking action? Today? I want you to drop me a message. Heck, by the time you listen to this, I'm already on the ground. There are no guarantees in life. This podcast is recorded. If I go down, you've got this. What action are you going to take? Why are you going to wait? When are you going to take it? If you knew you wouldn't fail, what are you going to do? If you knew you had 6 months, what are you going to do? My friends, those are my thoughts from 35,000 feet. And as you hear the vibration of the engines, I hope that it almost created some white noise for you, because 8 hours in the air over the last four days or so has created a little bit of solitude in my mind to prepare these last 6 weeks, but more importantly, to step back and to reflect and to connect with such great human beings that I have the opportunity to work with. I hope I spoke into your spirit today. I hope I spoke life into you today. And please, I do want to hear from you. If you have not left a review yet, please leave a review on iTunes. It really helps the show. It helps us create more impact. It helps me live my purpose. All you have to do is go to iTunes, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. It could be 1 sentence, 3 sentences, but bare your soul and share it. And then share this with a friend. My thoughts from 35,000 feet on this Southwest airline as I sit in seat 10 looking out the window. It's time for me to go watch a football game. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I can't wait to hear from you. Peace and God bless.